you ever been to one of my unmuted. Okay, have you ever been to one of my live events and we all come back from lunch or something? Hello, Johnny. We all come back from lunch or something, and everybody's filing in very slowly. That's when the jokes come out. That's when I start to tell my stories. I start to tell the funny jokes, my repertoire of jokes that can be used in all types of company, except for that one joke. I can't. I don't know. Not gonna do it. So, all right. Let's get started because we have our second cohort meeting this afternoon, which I'm very, very excited about. Shoot, just realized I might have forgotten something. So I just wanted to share here kind of a little bit of history. People always love it when I tell a story about how I got started in this business. And hello, Oregon. Hello, Portland. My aunt used to be she headed up the chemistry department at the University of Portland for years. Wicked smart, So the first deal that I ever did. So what happened was I was in the insurance business, went to law school. While I was in law school, I was working for an insurance firm doing a very unique type of insurance. Hey, Grand Rapids, I got married in Orchard Lake, Michigan. As a matter of fact, the story I'm going to tell right now, Garrett, is about a Michigan property. I worked for an insurance firm selling a very unique type of insurance. It's not something you sell on the open market, and became kind of an expert at it, got good at it, started making a lot of money at it. And when you get out of law school, you're like, well, why would I leave this cushy gig? So I sold more of that insurance, and then I ultimately went to start my own company, because why not? I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I do. I can do things better than anybody else, or so I think. So I then started my own company in 1999 or so. Did that for about 7 years and would have been in a grave by now if I continued doing that. I found out I truly hated insurance and never wanted to have anything to do with it again. And now I'm opening up a multifamily risk agency for my clients who are having trouble with their renewals. And that's something else we're going to be talking about probably in the next couple of weeks. So I did that for 7 years, and I went to my wife and said, I can't do this anymore. And she says, what do you want to do? I said, I want to sell the business and I want to get out. And she says, well, then what are you going to do? You're 40 years old. And I said, I want to own apartments. I've always wanted to own apartments. I've always loved the concept of owning apartments. It's been what I've wanted to do. She says, okay, let's do it. So a year or so later, I sold the business and walked away, swore I would never get in the insurance business again, lied. And then I started buying apartments, went to a couple of people's courses, became an expert at it, like I was with the other business. And we started going at it. And one of the things that allowed me, I think, and this is what I teach my students to be a success early on, was the fact that I approached it from a sales and marketing perspective. Insurance business, all we did was sell. And that same concept of sales and marketing rolled over into multifamily. And if you don't believe the success in this business is tied to sales and marketing, you don't know what business you're in. Because all of my most successful students have been the ones who came at it from a sales and marketing perspective. They knew they had to get out there and make offers every day, all the time, as much as they possibly could. Oh, by the way, let's see, what is it? Oh, yeah. They give you a water bottle when you buy a Porsche. They also give you a pen. Don't have the hat. So I got out there and I started going at it. I was looking at deals every single day. I was talking to brokers. I was putting myself out there and making offers. I had made at least 2 offers a week. And that was what I needed to do, because the only thing that you can control in this business is the making of offers. You cannot control the acceptance of the offer. You cannot control the price that the seller believes is the right price. You can't control if the bank's going to give you the money or not. The only thing that you can control in this business is making offers. Everything else is out of your control. So the one thing that you can control, you got to do every single day. If you're not doing it, I have students like, oh, I've been trying, I've been doing this, the numbers don't work, blah, blah, blah. How many offers have you made? 1. No, you're not going to make it with 1. Last 6 months, you did 1 offer. You told 1 person, hey, I think your property might be pretty. Can I buy it from you? 1 person. And now you're throwing your hands up like, I can't understand why I can't succeed. Yeah, well, I can tell you why exactly right now. Hello, Debbie. So here's the, so what happened was I went out I was in a group that was looking at Cincinnati. So I went out to Cincinnati and we were talking to, a bunch of brokers out there. Still have contact with those brokers, great guys. But there was one woman, and her name was Eleanor, and she took a shine to me and my wife. And she started, she said, I went out and met with her. She was great. She said, listen, go home, and I will find you the type of deal that you're looking for. And as soon as I find it, you better have your checkbook ready. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's do that. So, of course, I went home and I started looking for properties all over the place. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from her. I said, hey, she said, I found the property for you. I said, okay, tell me about it. It's a 128 unit property in Michigan. I was like, wow. This is my first deal. My goal, because I hadn't read my book yet. I hadn't read my book, which I tell people to start with 20. My goal was 20. All I want to do is 20 units my first year. Oh, by the way, did anybody? I brought it home. I brought my award home. Best of 2022 Real Estate Podcast. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was me. So I went and I said, geez, Eleanor, that's a big bite. I only want to do 20. She says, well, listen, it's made up of a couple of different enclaves. So thanks, John. So maybe, you can peel off an enclave and buy one enclave. And so I looked at it, and there were 40 units that were built less than about 10 years before. They're really nice, Class A, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all the same size. They're beautiful. They're really nice. I said, what if I just bought those 20? And she said, okay, those 40. She said, okay, let's try that. So I made an offer on the 40. And we did a little horse trading back and forth, and we tried to figure out what the right number was. And we were way off. I mean, we were new. We didn't know what we didn't know. And we got the offer accepted. And it was, I think, 2.2 or 2.5 million for those 40. And of course, then we had to raise the money. Now, we have been keeping in touch with our friends and family, letting them know what we've been doing. And they were all on board. They couldn't wait for us to find a deal because they wanted to invest in it. And every time we made an offer, we let them know. And every time the offer got rejected, we let them know. And every time we decided not to look at a property because it didn't meet our criteria, we let them know. And we let them know every step of the way what we were doing. So when we finally got a deal and a contract, they were excited. And so this is what you have to do with your friends and family, with your investor database of names. Keep them informed of everything you're doing. Bring them along the journey. They don't understand multifamily, and you're going to educate them about it and what it's going to do for them. So we get the deal and the contract. We go to do the due diligence. We do it all wrong. We did it. I mean, it was right. It was a great property, but I paid way too much money. Shouldn't have had to pay what I did for the inspections. I teach that too, how to do it the right way. And then we needed about, I think we figured we needed about 200, no, about $600,000, which nowadays, oh boy, those are great numbers. Can you imagine? So we went out to the friends and family, and within 9 days, because we had cultivated our database, in 9 days, we had that deal fully funded. I think there were about 9 participating people. And so we ended up owning our first property within about 6 months of getting started. That was about 2005, I think it was. And so, there were a lot of things wrong. Looking back on it, I could have done so much better. I think I overpaid. I did not realize that it was a motivated seller. I did not realize that because the bank was working on brokering the deal. They should not have been involved. They ended up, lending us the money to go in there and do it. It was crazy, but we bought it, and it was a beautiful property, and we held on to it through the crash and all the way through the term. We didn't make as much on it as we hoped to, because it was a rising cap rate environment, and there was nothing you can do about it, just like it is now. I mean, a lot of these, you're starting to see some of these properties come back to the banks through maturity defaults, and the property matures, the loan matures, and they can't justify the sales price against the outstanding balance, and the bank just takes it back. So there's a lot of that going on. It was going on back in my day too, back when we first started. So that's, I've been through it once before. So that was the first deal that we did. Now, let me just kind of give you a little bit of a story behind the story. So remember, it was originally a 128 unit property, and I said, oof. Well, we ended up buying the other 88. We struck a deal with the bank, and we bought it with no money down. Yeah, you heard me, no money down. So the first deal, we purchased 40 units for $600,000 down, and the second deal we did was 88 units with no money down. I don't recommend that. I don't. I tell people there's a right way to buy property and there's a wrong way. And the right way is to make sure you bring capital to the table. You are buying or building a business. All business requires cash. And if you're out of cash, you're out of business. That property that we got for no money down, yeah, I was a proud owner of 128 units within the first year of my being in the multifamily business. But I didn't make a dime off that property. And when the market turned and the cap rates went up, I had to give that property back to the bank. And, we had to negotiate out of the personal guarantee. So that was not a smart acquisition. I would have been better off just letting them sell it to somebody else, and then maybe buying it from them when they're matured, when their term matured. So, you sit there and you tell great stories, and everybody makes money at multifamily. Well, no, not everybody makes money at multifamily. You got to do it the right way. You got to know what you're looking for, and you got to be patient and buy value. So that was those were my first 2 acquisitions, and then after that, it just I had over 1,000 units in the first 3 years, and because I was going after everything, I was a salesman. I wanted to buy this, I'll buy that, I'll buy this, I'll figure out structuring deals, unique ways, and then the market crashed, and I kept some and I lost some, and but I learned so much that I see things that are going on today. Same stuff, same exact stuff that happened. But I'll tell you, I never once soured on the multifamily business. It's the best business to be in. Here I am now, all these years later, drinking out of a Porsche water bottle because I can. Have you bought with seller financing, and how is that compared to traditional means? Yeah, I bought one with seller financing. And when we say seller financing, it wasn't, I did a master lease option on one deal. And then the one that I did with seller financing, That was a big mistake. I signed personally for that. Market crashed. 10 years later, I get a phone call from a lawyer saying he's looking to collect on that note. And the other 4 partners that I had in that deal, they were long gone. I was the only one that had any money, because everybody else got out of the real estate business. I stayed in it. I toughed it out. So they asked me, they said, hey, you owe this amount of money. It was an ungodly amount of money. And I knew I did because I signed personally. And that's what happens. So that's why I tell my students, don't sign personally. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. You're better off not doing the deal than signing personally. But I did. And 10 years later, it was a $385,000 second mortgage on the property. But it wasn't a second mortgage because Fannie Mae wouldn't allow us to put debt behind them. So it wasn't a second mortgage. It was a personal loan signed personally by 5 people. And 10 years later, that lawyer calls up and he says, I'm going after everybody. And I said, well, let me strike a deal with you. I'll write you a check for $100,000 and leave me alone. He goes, I think we can make that work. And so that's what I did. And I paid that note. I paid more than my fair share at the time that we took it out, with interest and everything else. I can't even fathom what the number was, but I liked that lawyer. He and I got along great. We struck a deal, and everybody walked away from the table. Except, the other people, they're still going after them. They'll never get a dime out of those people. But that's another reason why you're very careful with who you choose as partners. I got to be honest with you. One of the guys in that deal was a partner that got us into trouble with the SEC, and that guy and I had some screaming matches over the phone. And I remember one time I hung up the phone with him, and after that point, he and I worked together for 3 years every day. And after that, we hung up that phone. I never spoke to him again. And I heard that he and his wife divorced. I heard that he lost his house to foreclosure. All this bad stuff potentially happened to him. Never heard anything. In the letter that I got from that lawyer, he says, we are looking for John Smith, Bob Franks, and Joe Jones, now known as Joanna Marie Jones. And I saw that and I thought, what? And of course, I jumped right on like Facebook or something. I looked this person up, and sure enough, he had transitioned to a woman. And I just thought to myself, I never, ever saw that coming. I just never in a million years. So that was kind of a shocker. And that was, don't judge me. I'm not judging him. Listen, things in life happen for a reason. All of my mistakes and all of my successes have led me to where I am right now, and I'm very fortunate. I'm very happy about that. But we all have a different path to take, and but at the end of the day, my answer to you, Francis, is don't sign personally. Structure seller financing in a way that you're not going to get hurt. Always ask for seller financing. I teach my students that make sure that you always ask the $1 million question when you're negotiating with a broker. Is the seller willing to get creative? Period. Shut up, sit back, see what the broker says. So that's the seller financing question. And now that we're working in hotels, we always ask that question, because some of these hotel owners are running scared because they're in trouble, and they're more willing to get creative than the multifamily owners are. So make sure that you always ask that $1 million question. And how is that compared to how is seller financing compared to traditional means? It's I'll tell you something. I invested in a 500 unit complex. 2 of my students put together, and one of the things that attracted them to this deal was that it was going to be entirely seller financing. The seller was going to be the entire bank. They had to come up with 20% down. Okay, that's pretty cool. Or is it? And what if you go back and you ask those clients of mine, if they had to do it all again, would they use a bank or would they use seller financing? I guarantee you they would say seller financing. I mean, they would say bank financing. The problem was they couldn't raise enough money with their friends and people. They had to go to the street to get that money. They went to Wall Street. They went to a lot of equity funds. And all of the funds that they went to see hated the seller financing structure. And so they were stuck. They finally, I think he said they went to 35 different lenders or investors before somebody said yes. And they finally got the money and made it happen. But it took them. They were sweating bullets. They were sweating bullets to make it happen. So every deal is different, Francis. You got to look at all the structures, and that's the name of the game. Let me keep moving on. Must have been a 164th Porsche Matchbox for such a nice water ball. Oh, John, you're very funny. It's a Panamera, baby. It's beautiful. It's a baby, my baby. Greetings from Deltona. Hey, Carmen. Hey, yeah. So we have our second cohort meeting. Our first cohort's second meeting. We're taking the wait list now for the second cohort. First cohort's all full. We are now going to be put on the waiting list for the second cohort. It's going great. We're working on a couple of deals right now, and just the way the system is set up and how it's going to operate, it's going to be fantastic. So yes, hope to see you all someday in one of my cohorts where we can all work together and we don't do syndication. Syndication is a scam. Passive investing is a scam. And if anybody wants to challenge me on that, nobody ever wants to challenge me on that claim. I'd be very curious to see if anybody. How do we get on the wait list for the second cohort? Jack, Deborah or Molly, or both, is probably on this call right now. So they will take down your name and contact. We'll give you if somebody out there has that. I don't know if it's on the website yet to put your name on, but that's where you want to be. Can you see my little bobblehead there? That's actually me. Unless it's as great. Then we get to the sports car in green. Okay, I think I know who that is. And he's never sitting in my car. I'll say that right now. I have to hose the guy down, for crying out loud. Let's see. There is no challenge. I see anyone could win against the H2A as it is. There is no challenge. I see anyone could win with H2A as it is. Okay, John, did you type that too fast? You get a liquid lunch or something today down there in Florida? Let me see. Okay, so there's oh good. Look at we got there's the address. I think that's Deborah typing to you right now. So yeah, let Deborah know. We'll put you on the mailing list for the next 25. By this time next week, the first all the systems that we're going to implement for the first cohort will be up and running. Very excited about it. It's going to be great. On our CRM, I have it built out so that, you find the hotel, you pull up the information, and we've got the top 10 questions right built into the screen. So you ask the questions, you know what to find out, just to make sure that you got yourself a good deal. Then you kick it over to us. We help you analyze it, make sure it's a good deal, and then we go to town on it. We make offers. That's the name of the game. And the way you make offers on the CRM is just push a button, and it imports all your fields, crafts you a nice Word document, send it on out. It's saved in the system. Move on to the next one. It's nice. No one could win the challenge against your model is what I meant. Oh yeah. Oh, hey, listen. Oh, I appreciate that, John. now we're not talking about the car. We're talking about the passive investing model versus what I call the Warren Buffett model. And I agree, John, I've seen it. I've done it both ways. And this passive investing model is multi-level marketing for multifamily investors. And only the people at the top win in that situation. Not only that, but if you look at the pyramid that they're creating, it's a dead business model. Dead. You get two guys or one guy at the top. He makes all the money. Government limits the number of people you can have to some made up number. You can't grow your business beyond that point. Even the whole life cycle of that business has a drop dead date. Oh, when do I get my money back? Well, when we sell the property, and then you have to start all over again. It just doesn't make sense as an ongoing business because everyone I talk to wants to make millions in multifamily. They want to leave a legacy. They want to have a business, and you don't do that through syndication. You just don't. It's just not the right model. So we're teaching the other model. We're teaching people how to build a business, how to have something that they actually can leave to their children. That they have to have that they actually have to have succession. Ask yourself the question: in the Warren Buffett model versus the passive investing model, which one of those two businesses needs a succession plan? Only one. The other one is going to take care of itself. It will die after a certain amount of time. So that's that story. All right, let me see. Coming up in the half hour because I got to get prepared for the cohort meeting. Hey, Felipe, I attended one of your events upstate New York. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to stop. I haven't read any more, but that was a great venue. And I liked those amphitheater venues. And that one was gorgeous. That one used to be the IBM headquarters up in Armonk, New York, I think it was. And oh my gosh, the people sat back in luxury leather seats and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Maybe we should do a cohort annual meeting there. Maybe that's what we should think about. Everything was right there on site. Even the rooms, everything was beautiful. Curious about your claim that syndications are scams. Could you please elaborate? Yeah, I can. Summer, please. It actually would be nicer in the fall, John. It was beautiful. All right. Okay. So Felipe, listen to this. And oh man, do I even have that? Do I have that model, Molly? Do I have that? Do I have that? Hold on a second. Let me see. YouTube multifamily. Well, if I click on this passive investing, let me try. Hey, Felipe, let me see if I can get onto this. Yeah, let me see. No, this is an old one. All right, Molly, get me out of this. Remove from studio. Okay, there we go. All right, let me try to do it. Actually, Felipe, go back into the YouTube live and into the archives. I think last week I actually had the slides for this. Think about the way of a syndication is designed. You get one guy at the top, the GP. He's the guy who got the deal under contract, went to somebody's weekend boot camp, and now he's out there, doing big deals because he wants to go big or go home. That's what they told him. So he gets a deal under contract, and now he's got to raise an amount of money he's never even contemplated before. And he realizes very quickly that he can't do it on his own. So he decides, okay, that is this it, Molly? You are the best. Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, let me get to. I wonder if okay, so I do this thing, Felipe, that you can actually go on my website. One of my helpers here put the address into the box just so you can see it's really it came about because I was on some show and they were telling me they were raising money for their raise and they had 17 GPs. I was like, what do you mean 17 GPs? How does anybody make money with 17 GPs? Nobody ever did the math. I did the math, and that's what I came up with here with this calculator. But let me see if I can give you, so here it is. This is what happened. Here are the two guys that came out of a boot camp, the go big or go home guys. They realize they can't raise the money, so the guru tells them, "Oh, go bring on co-GPs and make them co-GPs, but tell them they've got to raise a certain amount of money." And once they do that, they are in the group, which is all illegal. You can't do it that way, and I don't care what you say. It's against the law. The SEC would be over you in a heartbeat if the SEC actually did anything. So you get these 5 people. Now, they don't have the money either, but they want to be a co-GP because somebody told them that they need it on their resume if they want to be a big multifamily investor someday. So they go out there and they raise money among all of their friends and family. And so, Felipe, what you're looking at right here is the business model for a syndication. And the only people who make money on this deal are those 2 guys at the top. That's if they structure it the right way, because they're going to get the majority of the acquisition fee. They may keep a higher percentage of the deal than anybody else. And everybody else loses. And not only that, but this is not a business model, because this model dies after 5 to 7 years. And all these people separate, they all walk away and they go their separate ways and you get to start all over again. That's not a business. That's not an ongoing concern. And not only that, the government limits how many people you can have down there because they know it's best for us. And nobody really makes any money. Look how many mouths you have to feed out of that one deal. There's nothing left. And if you go back to that calculator, what you have to do is just plug in the numbers right here, and it tells you down here in the bottom, if you're going to go out there and build a business like Warren Buffett, in order to replace a $10,000 monthly income, you're going to need to own 46 units if you want to own the properties yourself. If you want to go do a syndication, you're going to need almost 17,000 units based upon all the elements that we build into here. That's never going to work. That just is never going to work. And the thing is, you got to do it in the next 5 to 7 years, or it all starts to implode on itself. Here's my model. Okay. We start the 2 guys, David Peters. In the interest of full disclosure, this is not Charles Dobens. This is not David Peters. We're just actors playing us. Okay. So we're actually more like these 2 guys, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. So our model, the cohort model, has us at the bottom. And what we do is we start putting together other investors to create joint venture partnerships into the deals. So this way, the other joint ventures, the other partners in the next model, they go out and they grow even more people. And so everybody's working together to do joint venture deals. So there's no end to it. It just continues to grow, because our goal is to get to 100,000 hotel units to convert to apartments. And the only way we're going to do it is if we keep growing it this way. You do it as a syndication, it's never going to work. It's never going to grow. So, this is what a true business looks like, is you just keep growing it and growing it, and everybody makes money. That's it. So that's it, Molly, if you want to take that down for me. Yeah. So Felipe, that's what I mean by the syndication model. And I listened to all these gurus out there teaching it, and I had a securities attorney at my last event, and he told the story about how he actually went to that guru's event, taught securities law, told people you can't do these things, and then as soon as he sits down, one of the success students for the guru gets up there and says, "This is what I'm doing. I'm raising money for these people," which is in clear violation of everything that he said you couldn't do. So just don't get involved with that. You're never going to make any money at it. Start building your own business. Find ways to do it. Find people who are going to help you build a business and grow with them. Don't go out there and tap your friends and family on the shoulder and hope that grandma has got some dough. Yeah. I do have a link, and I think somebody just gave it to you, or no, it's actually on my website, and I'm hoping my website's in operation now. We've been having problems with the DNS. Okay, yeah, there we go. MultifamilyOS.com/resources. So you can see, just plug it in. How much money do you need? If you're looking in Cincinnati, what's the average price of a unit in Cincinnati? Just answer those questions. And yeah, so that's it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This is hopefully answer your questions. I got to jump over my cohort meeting in about 25 minutes, and it'll be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun taking our students through the model and seeing all the new stuff. All right, great to see you all. Thanks for coming. And passive investing link is up there too. Good. Thanks, Deb. So that should do it for you, Felipe. Thanks, John. Good to see everybody else. 555 Ventures. I wonder what that means. I don't know. All right, Felipe, come back next week. You can tell us. All right, everybody. Great to see you, and we'll chat next week. Thanks.